Okay, do me a favor. Go into the back there and make sure that they are watching the live in here. It should still be on YouTube. I set it on YouTube.
Okay.
And then I need them in here. I'm about to go. Oh, now, that first set again. Okay, I don't know what you can see right now, but until I can get somebody in here to help me with it, that's what you're going to watch. All right. So this is like the hysteria that goes on before the show. And today, lot of crazy guests. Lot of crazy guests tonight. Um, I'm gonna do this. Hi,
Hello, Joe.
how are you?
How's Joe?
How coming in?
What a pleasure to see
We're
you.
always a pleasure to see you.
I love
Dr.
it here.
Well, thank you. You're gonna sit right there. My amendment, gentlemen. You're the amendment guy now.
Okay.
You're in the corner.
Where do we go?
You're in the.
Back in the back?
Right. It's affectionately called the barbershop.
Okay.
How are you?
Hello.
Right there. Yes, Queen. Hello. Welcome. J Nick, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Very good. Very good.
So, you didn't send me any info on the amendment guys, but
Right.
that's what they are now. They are Amendment 3 guys.
Oh, we're good.
The Amendment 3 guys.
Yeah.
Anti-amendment three guys.
Yes. And
Katya's there.
Katya,
Right.
I'm gonna put you. How are you, darling? Okay, so you're
I could be with the amendment, guys.
okay. So you all are gonna share that mic,
Okay, no problem.
and
Come on, young lady.
right. So I'll put the three of you in there. Don, we're good. And
Chris Smith, I don't know which one.
hi, Chris Smith. How are you?
Okay.
Or you can come. Oh,
Right.
you know, you just convene left that
I
part
know
out.
exactly. Right.
If we can get him a chair, you can put him right between Donald and Cynthia. Make sure that they have their headphones. Okay.
How you doing?
Good, Cece.
Good to meet you, Susie.
Cece Battle, how are you, darling?
Good, how are you?
Good. Hey. Mwah.
You know I had to bring my body.
Okay. We gotta get her a chair. You're gonna like ride shotgun with me all night.
Let's
What's
do
the
it.
first segment about?
Amendments.
Oh, okay. I was about to get hot and popular.
Juicy.
And I was like,
Okay.
all right.
Where, you need me to get a chair? Or do you need me to
Well, yeah, I asked one of them to get you a chair,
Okay.
and you're gonna sit on this side of Donald.
This side right here?
Yeah, so you two are gonna share that mic, and Cynthia and Chris.
Okay.
So they're gonna.
Percent discount.
So refreshed. I don't understand. 10:55 and you're.
Huh?
You said you look so refreshed.
Oh.
You do it.
Girl.
A punchline you never want to stop hearing. A court you never want to stop dominating.
Okay.
A cannon you never want to
I'm
stop
gonna
bawling.
do.
A song you never want to stop karaoke. A sushi chef you never want to stop complimenting. A pina you never want to stop colada-ing. Because once you choose fun with Carnival, you'll never want to stop. Visit the Bahamas, Cuba, or the Caribbean with getaways from $239 sailing from 5 Florida ports. Book now and save 20% on 2 to 4 day cruises. Hurry, these deals are going fast. Call your travel agent or visit carnival.com. Carnival. Choose fun. Cruises are in U.S. dollars per person, double occupancy. Taxes, fees, and port expenses additional. Restrictions apply. Full details on carnival.com. Ships registry, Bahamas, Panama, and Malta.
You've been good to me for 24 years by making the Time to the Morning Show #1. And now it's my turn to pay it forward. Now through Friday, October 19th, I'm giving you a chance to win $1,000 every hour from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Yeah, that's right. I said it, $1,000 every every hour from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. So lock all your radios to 105.1. Listen for the keyword and text it to 70123 to win $1,000.
Can you see it in the other room?
Yeah, it's just a weird angle.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And you can bring that up a little higher with the legs.
This looks good.
I mean, it's up to you.
No, this
yeah,
looks
however,
good.
if it looks good.
It's wild times up there.
Where am I? Since you're right there, can you write everybody's name down on the side of the
Alright.
for me?
I got you. Give me a pen.
So I can go Facebook Live, right? I can go Facebook Live too?
Huh?
I can do Facebook
Yeah, yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
you
because I'm on
need
YouTube. If you
everybody
do
that's
that.
here? You need everyone that's here or people who are
All
going
the
to speak?
amendment people
Huh?
and the speakers.
Okay.
Yeah, I got CC, Donald Jones, Cynthia Stafford, Senator Chris Smith.
You have what's the
The amendment guys.
I like that.
I need to-
I will use that.
Where am I?
My agent is working. You can answer that.
Hi, I'm Danny. I'm Creek William.
And Mr. Jones, are you from here as well?
Well, I grew up in Baltimore.
Really? So we switched places.
Innocent.
Okay. How long have you been down here?
For over 2 decades.
Okay.
Standing up.
Uh-huh.
I love life.
There'll never be another Michael.
Let's go. It's Hot Talk. Jill Tracy, always live, always entertaining and educating South Florida. Celebrating over 30 years. Hot Talk.
But there's nothing like South Florida.
What do you do in DC?
I run a national social justice incubator for young people.
Good,
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
good, good.
Not voting.
Andrew Gillum is
It's not a protest. It is a surrender. That's Keith Ellison. And good evening, South Florida. I am Jill Tracy. Thank you so much for joining us here on Hot Talk, South Florida's #1 community affairs show. Each and every Sunday night, we highlight the achievements and discuss the challenges of our community with you and an engaging panel of guests. And I invite you, as always, to have a seat, perhaps a cocktail, and join the conversation. 888-550-9105. My jewels tonight, indeed, are Keith Ellison, the 4th Deputy Chair of the Democratic National Committee. And I won't discuss whether or not he's running for anything, and we will leave that to him. We're not getting into that tonight. Whew, my goodness, there's just so much that we could get into, but these amendments, listen, I don't care how many times you've heard about them. I don't care how many times you said, I'm going to be ready when I walk into that booth. I'm telling you right now, you won't. So we cannot say it enough times. I cannot have enough people coming in here and talk to you about these amendments that will be on the ballot. This midterm, most important, possibly election of our lives. Who would have thought it would be a midterm? But, you know, who would have ever thought? Fill in the blank. So tonight I have an all-star panel. I have an all-star room tonight. We're talking about the amendments in this first hour. And in the second hour, one of the greatest parts, oh my goodness, of our community that is being scarred by our current administration is the arts. They cut arts funding for the state of Florida by almost 90%. 90%! Where do you expect your children to get inspiration from if not for their artistic endeavors and their sports endeavors? Whew, Jesus, it just upsets me so, but unless you know better, you cannot do better. So tonight, I have friends in the building who want to help you do better, be better, live better in Florida. And they are constitutional law professor Donald Jones in the building. How are you, sir?
Great,
Oh, you swing it, yeah. Okay.
great.
So
So
this-
this highly favored.
Yes, indeed. So listen, we are taking up the slack for our dear brother who and all of those who are in Tallahassee and in the Panhandle, helping those who have weathered the storm. So we are all hands on deck. Hashtag bringing it home. And I'm so pleased to have in the building finally. When I tell you this is another person I was stalking like Carvalho. Representative Cynthia Stafford is in the building. Hello, Queen.
Well, hello, my dear sister.
How are you?
It is such a pleasure to be here this evening.
And I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
And now my surprise guest tonight, to your right, come on over, Senator, who came in the room. What did you say when you walked in the room?
Well, I just said I'm Chris Smith.
You just left off the most important part. No. Chris Smith is the most important part. But Senator Chris Smith is in the building. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me here.
Welcome. I am blessed and highly favored to have you all, and I'm going to swerve over to the other side of the room. J. Nick. Wait. J. Nick, I'm going to have you introduce. This is the J. Nick side of the room.
I
My
like
sister.
I like the name you gave them.
Yes, the amendment guys are in the building. But they are flanked with, well, introduce everybody on that side of the room, because if you are on, like, who's live? Okay, Jay, you're on Instagram?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Your Instagram live.
I'm Dan Atkins, Big Easy Casino. Floating on 3.
There you go. Dan Atkins, Big Easy Casino. That's his, right. He's no on 3.
Cassie St.
Well, you all come over to the mic. Oh, right. If they're talking to the Instagram. No,
Oh.
you-
Cassie St. Fleur, and I'm here on behalf of Amendment 2, so we want everyone to vote yes on 2.
on 2. Okay. And the other amendment guy was like, no. Okay, and you want to introduce yourself? The other amendment guy. Go ahead.
William Miller, also with Amendment 3.
Well,
so
you,
three.
J. Nick, take that mic over there to them because it sounds like they are in another room. And I would like to welcome. I'm so glad that you hollered and you were in town. Miss Cece Battle.
Hey.
How are you, Queen?
I'm good. How are you, fam?
I am good. Now, so you're kind of in the mix. You're gonna ride shotgun with me.
I'm ready for it. Let's do
Because
it.
so tell them a little bit about your project.
Yeah. So again, my name is Cece Battle, and I'm the executive director of Young People For, which is a national social justice incubator for young people. And proudly, Andrew Gillum is an alum of us. He
Amen.
used to run us, and our whole premise is to give young people the tools and access they need to change the world. So that's why I'm here. Applications are open, and we're trying to do amazing things.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
she'll be riding shotgun with me all night, and so we will get that information on the Facebook page. So, let's just start off with the rip. Now, I just received. How many of you all got your ballots in the mail?
I got mine.
Yeah. Yes. Everybody know?
Mhm.
Yes. Everybody in this room got theirs already in the mail. Okay. So, and then I got this poster.
Yeah,
Right. If you are all right, if you are on Instagram, right. If you haven't gotten yours yet, this is the poster of the amendments. Okay, and they are. Would you call this political legalese? This is a whole nother language that they have created in order to do amendments. The first thing that I want to ask you because this is free for all. Just raise your hand if you want to take the question. The very first thing that I noticed, right, is now I understand what all of that concession and filibustering and all those things mean, right? Because you get these amendments that have, let's just take the one about offshore drilling, what is that, 11? And vaping. Okay, so that to me sounds,
That's 9.
is that not about
Nine.
the offshore drilling and vaping?
Yes.
That's 9, okay.
Log
So-
rolling.
Exactly. So that just sounds to me like you all had to be, in your conference and saying, okay, look, so we want offshore drilling. Okay, nope, that's not going to happen unless you put we want vaping. So we need all of this in the same thing. Is that because how does this happen that you have such disparate things in one amendment?
So that was done by the Constitutional Revision Commission that I served on. There was 36 Floridians that were appointed by the governor, the Speaker of the House, and the President of the Senate. And we traveled the state, and we came up with about 2,000 different proposals. And they got dwindled down. So once we started really talking about the last 30, there was a subgroup of this, of 8 people, which were the Style and Drafting Committee, that came back with a lot of these things pushed together. And so even though we were appointed, some of us were elected officials, some were not. When they came back to us, it was, okay, these are the bundles, vote on them as a bundle. And that was a big, big fight. I mean, myself and my sister, Arthenia Joyner, senator from Tampa, and a couple others, tried to fight against that because we saw what was going to happen. People like yourself, well-meaning, well-educated people are like, you know what, this looks fishy, we're not going to go for it.
Right. Okay, but here we are.
Yeah, it was about 8, so about 8 people came up with this scheme, and that's how it was hatched.
Okay, so now there's so many on here that part of you would say yes, and the other part would say no to. So what is the general? I'm going to go to our constitutional law professor, Donald Jones. Presented with this dilemma.
Well, it seemed to me that first of all, I think 7, 9, and 11 are
11, yeah.
being challenged by the court because of the single subject rule. Generally, constitutionally, you should only, under Florida Constitution, only have one subject. I don't know if any of these are going to be on the ballot. And if they are on the ballot, it's because of sort of the inefficiency or the dysfunction of our political process in some ways. So what I would do is. if
So
you-
wait, so there's actually, okay, so Chris, you said,
There's three ways that you can get these on the ballot. The legislature can vote 2/3 to put them on the ballots, and that's 1, 2, and 5, and they have to go through the Supreme Court. You can do it by petition method,
Yes, sir.
and that's 3 and 4. That goes to the Supreme Court. But remember, the Constitution Revision Commission, the body that I served on, we aren't governed by the Supreme Court, so that's why they're not subject to the log rolling rules and other things.
Okay.
There was only, so all of them were challenged. The only one was removed was number 8 because it was seen as confusing. But the others have gone through the challenges and have been back on the ballot. So you won't see a number 8 on your ballot on that dealt with charter schools, because that was looked at as confusing. But when the Constitution Revision Commission, again, these 36 people, no one really knew about us. We traveled this state, weren't subject to any Supreme Court rules when we put it on the ballot. And it happens every 20 years in Florida. So 20 years from now, they're going to put another commission together that won't be subject to the normal rules of log rolling.
wow.
As the professor stated.
I stated
Wow.
correctly, but this is one of those.
Yeah.
And it's, Professor Jones, you gotta speak into the mic, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, legislature couldn't do this, and petition method couldn't do this, but because of this
Understood,
unique
understood.
commission, they're not subject to log rolling.
And this unique committee, because,
Well, it was done 40 years ago. It's just part of our Constitution that every 20 years, a commission is appointed to just go through the Constitution and see what kind of stuff should be there in there, what kind shouldn't be.
oh,
in there.
just, right, because as time goes on and things change, you
Yes, and this
need to
is so
change
it
certain.
gears up every 20 years. And so 20 years from now, the President of the Senate, the Speaker of the House, and the Governor will appoint these 36 people just from whoever they want to appoint to go through the Constitution and do this.
And you- I'm
Might I
sorry,
add,
Cynthia.
since Senator Smith was on it, can you give let the listeners know who sat in that
Right, that
commission and who was the chairman of the commission?
Yeah,
You
'cause
would
I-
think that if you're looking at the Constitution,
Yes.
you might want some legal minds to be at the forefront, but share with us some.
Especially constitutional legal minds, Professor Jones, were you on that, are you on this committee?
No. I'm an observer. I'm a spectator.
Okay.
There were a couple of lawyers, a couple of legislators, but most of them were friends of the President of the Senate, friends of the Governor. Our chair is a developer from Southwest Florida. Chairman Baruch that ran for U.S. Senate, he ran against Marco Rubio, and he ran to the right of Marco Rubio.
Wow.
He was more, he considered Marco Rubio a little too liberal.
God help us
the
get
chair-
the holy water.
He was the chair of the commission, but it was it was a mixed group. I wouldn't say a diverse group, but it was a mixed group of people. But no constitutional law professors were on this commission that was reviewing the
I was
Constitution.
waiting for the call.
Right? And so members of this committee, can you say, well, listen, we thought we should have some people that, are a little more proficient in the law as a part of this group? Okay. Well, that answers that question.
Well,
So then that's how we got here.
That's how we got it. I made it on because I was the minority leader of the Senate.
Well-
And so the Senate president put the Democratic leader and put the head of the Republicans on there. So that's how I made the cut. And I think Senator Joyner made it because I forgot the Florida Bar puts 3 people on there. So the Florida Bar put Senator Marthenia Joyner, who's a legal giant in the
Yes,
state.
yes.
And so she served on there with me.
Wow. Okay. All right. So now this is the work that you all are so proud of.
Why you gotta be like you?
Where shall we start? All right. That I think for us is homestead property tax exemption, proposing an amendment to the state constitution to increase the homestead exemption by exempting the assessed valuation of homestead property greater than $100,000 and $225,000 for all levies and other school district levies. The amendment shall take effect January 2019. Okay, what does that mean?
All right. Thank you. It means that, all right, currently, let me give it to you. Currently, there's a $25,000 exemption that homeowners get. Those homes that are valued between 50,000 and 75,000 get another exemption. So that's on top of the 25. So now we're at 50,000. This is saying that those homes that are valued over 100,000 get another 25.
So
So
that's
now $75,000 exemption that homes valued over $100,000 would get. So there would be a 75,000 exemption for them. Mind you, that is revenue that the local government
Right.
will be losing.
Yes.
Because again, this is $75,000 that those homes that are valued over $100,000 will be getting that another benefit, and I'm just concerned that it's gonna keep rising. And
Well,
by the time we're done, we'll have a $500,000 home getting a whatever amount of exemption on their home.
And the reasoning behind that is, well, we're going to find out the reason why. The more you pay for your house, the more benefits you get,
Right.
and the less you pay for your house, the more taxes that you have.
Please support these advocates that support Hot 105.
Some new homeless seniors don't like to go to the doctor until they're sick, but let's change that for them. October 19th, it's Take a Loved One to the Doctor Day. Chin Senior Medical Center invites you to bring your senior loved one for a complimentary diabetes screening and medication review between October 10th and 21st to ensure they stay healthy. 12 medical centers across Dade and Broward to serve you. Just call 786-785-8000 to schedule your appointment at the Chin Center closest to you. We'll be glad you did. For more information, go to hot105fm.com right now.
Agnes was in deep trouble with the IRS.
I owed the IRS a lot. I did not know
Oh, yeah.
what I was going to do. I was
Okay.
scared.
Agnes caught a break and found out about Optima tax relief.
So,
Called Optima.
huh?
You know Uber is doing free rides on election day.
And they did.
Really?
Optima stopped the IRS.
Huh.
Telephone
Well,
calls.
they are doing the most now. They are really trying to self-correct.
I was stress-free.
Agnes was finally free
Oh, I'm
from
still
the
in this.
IRS nightmare.
It was like a burden was lifted off.
Huh?
And it was a great feeling.
Oh, you're an Uber ambassador over there. Is Uber a new client over there, Jen?
Because the government
I don't know. I might. They're doing free rides. Suppose.
Now for your free consultation,
That's all right.
call 800-910-8344. 800-910-8344.
Okay, I want to come back to that.
Optima tax relief.
You're just taking a minute.
For complete details,
Huh?
visit
Not going in order. We're just randomly calling.
I'm gonna do 3, 4. I'm gonna just run through the ones that are not. Yeah. Because we gotta get through them in an hour. So.
Well, for me, 2 and 6 are the ones that are the
So, yeah.
From the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field to the stadiums named after banks, razor blades, and delivery companies. This season, sports fans everywhere are getting ready for victory by visiting monkeyknifefight.com because they know it's their best chance to win at Daily Fantasy. And also because they like the name monkeyknifefight.com. Indeed, it is glorious. Monkey fight, monkey win. Monkey Knife Fight, the fantasy sports website where you can win real money. All contests are a game of skill. Must be at least 18 years old to participate. Sponsored by Fantasy Sports Shark LLC, San Diego, California.
Attention Save A Lot shoppers. Save A Lot is helping you save a lot more. It's the big price drop where grocery prices go from low to really low across Save A Lot stores. Which means smaller prices.
Is anybody? Oh yeah, Yvette and them are in there, so they can see. And hi y'all.
Smaller prices.
Joe, you might want to do this in one.
Everything in between.
After one.
Well, yeah. So I'm gonna run. Yeah.
And I'll explain it really quickly.
Yeah. Well, cause I'm gonna run. I want to get at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 11. And then anything that you think, like, okay, but make sure that we get this.
because they both live here. They're both brothers because they live in
No, no. Yes, indeed. It is 85509-105. Give us a call if you have a question. If you have a question or an amendment, get on your phone now. 888-550-9105. In the building with me tonight, I have constitutional law professor Donald Jones, State Representative Cynthia Stafford, State Senator Chris Smith. Okay, now I get lost when I get
The amendment people.
You want us to go on
in the barber shop, yes, and in the barber shop tonight we have
Danny Atkins, Big Easy Casino.
Katia St. Fleur.
Katya's like, really, girl? Okay. And Amendment Guthrie.
William Miller.
Okay. So Katya and the amendment guys are what are we, 2 and 3?
Right.
Okay. So I want to wrap real quick with one. So Representative Stafford. Yes. So the rational. So if your house is over 125,000, or you're going that way, of course you're going to vote yes on that one. Right. But if it's not, is there a detriment to you to vote?
Well, you run the risk of local government reducing your services or raising taxes to make up for that lost revenue.
Wow. Oh, Jesus. So you live in your little $75,000 house.
Libraries, public transportation. Again, we have to make up for that revenue that'll be lost. And again, it's going to go on to those who are not getting this benefit.
Right. The Florida League of Cities have estimated it's going to cost $644 million to local governments around the state. And a lot of our cities, a lot of the communities that we're in are already at bare bones. And so this will cut some more. I mean, if you can look at a lot of smaller cities, $1 million here, $2 million here, I mean, that becomes real money after a while.
I would say this is illusory as a benefit because I think it's not because conservatives more likely they're just going to move those taxes over, as Representative Stafford says, to people who are less able to afford it. It will be distributionally unjust. The students, the millennials are going to have to make up. So it's a pitch by the Republicans to their base, we're lowering taxes, but they're really not. They're going to give with one hand, but they're going to take from the people less able to afford it with the other.
With the other hand, yeah, because it's got to come from somewhere. And the general, I could be wrong, but I feel that the general impression is that those who don't have won't miss it because they didn't have it in the first place.
Right.
So let's just shift it over here to the people who we feel like need it. I'm going to grab this right quick. Hi, welcome to Hot Talk. Who's this? Hi, Cheryl. You have a question? Okay. Amendment 3. That's 4.
That's 4. And Amendment 6.
And Amendment 6.
Yeah.
Oh.
We can make some cross each other. I don't see how that's going to work.
Okay. All right. So anybody want? We're gonna jump into that one. She says she thinks that 4 and 6 cross each other, and she doesn't know how that's gonna work. I don't know exactly how. Are you still there, babe? How do they cross each other in your opinion? Right. Right. So I don't understand. The people that you're saying, are you saying you think that people they should get their rights back or they shouldn't? I don't understand. Okay. Okay, and as the victims, rights of crime victims. Anybody want to take that? Okay, I'm gonna let Professor Jones take that. Hang on, babe. Okay, Donald, turn his mic around so that the diamond is in front of him.
I'm right
There
here.
you go.
Right
Okay.
here. Right here. Right here.
Okay. So do you want to take that?
I didn't hear a question, but I think that if the issue is number 4, for example, I'll do both of them. Number 4 is an historic amendment, gives the people of Florida an opportunity to correct an historic injustice. Since the 1860s, Florida has disenfranchised certain ex-felons. And the ones that are disenfranchised disproportionately have been black people. Presently, 500,000 or more blacks cannot vote because of this provision. That's hugely disproportionate. We don't make up, that's out of the people who are disenfranchised, we're 2 to 3 times unduly
Our
represented.
population.
And I think that if you remember that the 2000 election was decided by 557 votes.
Right.
If we had the vote of these members of our community, the election would have come out a different way. This is something that hurts our political power. This is something that cripples our communities. This is something that's unjust. And it has its origins in racism. In the 1860s, constitutional conventions came together in southern states precisely to disenfranchise the Negro. And so this would be an opportunity for us to correct that injustice, to give people a sense of dignity, to restore full citizenship to people who have been second-class citizens. So 4 is absolute yes. Number 6 is an amendment which goes against the grain of our justice system. Our justice system is based on the idea that because the government has so much power and a person's accused of a crime, and anybody can be accused of a crime, then the government has to provide due process of law. And what this does, it takes a crime victim who is not a party, number 6, to the case and says, well, their rights will be equal. But they aren't a party to the case. But it would create problems such as you couldn't compel the crime victim to come to a preliminary hearing or come to a deposition and be deposed. It would deny the accused the opportunity to possibly dismiss a case, where there's eyewitness confusion, for example. It would create problems for the courts because it would give the accused the right to petition for a speedy trial before the accused can even prepare. And it would limit appeals to a couple of years.
This sounds very familiar.
I mean, it's beyond bad. It's not just no on 6. It's, if I could say, hell to the no. Hell to the no. This is something from.
Well, it sounds just like Kavanaugh.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, Jill, and you know, again, this is no one wants to say no to victims' rights.
Exactly.
We get it, we understand that. When you go up against, and again, my concern with this, I have an issue with the appeals provision that caps appeals, and I'll say it to you like this. I had 3 men to visit my office this year in Tallahassee, and had this been in effect, and they call themselves dead men walking, because one was on death row and the other one was the other 2 were lifers. Under this, they would be gone.
They'll all be gone.
Because this says that the appeals provision says that all non-death penalty appeals must be completed in 2 years. Well, you don't find evidence that exonerates you within, especially if you're on death row.
Right.
You know, DNA is found 15 or 20 years later.
Right.
So that would knock them out. Now, for death penalty appeals, it's 5 years. There's a cap. In this amendment, it sets a cap at 2 years for non-death penalty and 5 years for death penalty. Now, keeping in mind, you can petition the judge for finding to give you more time. However, if you don't know the evidence is there,
You're right.
you're done. You're cooked. So that is one. The second part is the speedy trial rule. 15 days, we get it. That's what the rules say. And a lot of this is addressed in the rules and in statute. So again, we have to be very careful when we tamper with stuff like that. When we say 15 days, now this is giving us another cap. We see a 60-day cap in here. Oftentimes, defenses are not ready in 60 days. So then you would have to go before a judge to get a special finding. What I'm concerned about with that speedy trial provision, because again, when the state files its case, they're ready. They've
Right.
done all of their
Yeah, right.
investigation. They got everything that they need. The defense is playing catch up at that moment. So we don't want people to start taking plea bargains because they're not fully ready, because
then-
they can't, you know, again, they're limited with this time. And again, when you start putting caps on time frames, we already deal with this in the rules of procedure. We already deal with this in statute. So why are we now going to enshrine it in the Constitution when again you're going up, and again, I support victims' rights. You know, I was a DV attorney, so I know what it is. I get it. I want you to be there. They can do a lot of these things already. So again, we have to be very, very, very careful. A lot of things that are in these amendments, I believe, as a legislature, we should have been dealing with in statutes.
Yes.
In statutes and in bills, and in some instances, the budget. But here we are, having before us, and again, I get it, Senator Smith, because especially with the law rolling and the bundling, our First Amendment is bundled. We deal with
Right.
the freedom of press, freedom of speech, blah, blah. But when you have misleading language,
Right.
in these amendments, and you're making people choose, you know, I do doing town hall meetings once a week until the week before election.
I see.
And people are, you know, one guy asked me, goes, a representative staff, but I like this part, but I don't like this part. Can I separate? And I'm like, no, baby, you only get one vote.
So when there are a lot of people that
A couple of things on 6, 'cause I guess I'm on the other side of the table on
Okay.
6. First, one part that was brought up about the depositions, that was taken out. We were able to take that one out. There was a part of that that said you couldn't compel a deposition of a victim. But there comes a point, though, that victims do need a voice. Some of it is by rule, but not everyone's following those rules. We're looking at victims now that are waiting 10 years to get justice. You got victims now waiting, 20 years to get justice. It comes a point that sometimes you have to, when you're a victim and you see nothing going on, you're further victimized. And our system is so broken now that you get people doing stuff like Marsy's Law. I would love for Marsy's Law to be statute. I would love for the legislature to just do this and do it the right way. But there comes a point that when the excuse me?
There is a statute that protects victims' rights.
But it doesn't go far enough with ensuring that cases will come to trial at some point. If you look at in Lauderhill right now, and we've seen on Channel 10, Herb Johnson, the Lauderhill employee, whose wife was stabbed to death 10 years ago at Taco Bell up on Oakland Park Boulevard. It's been 10 years this man has been sitting around crying, seeing the two people that killed her, and still it hasn't gone to trial because every single day there's something new, and he's further victimized every day.
Yeah, but you see, the point is, I don't think he's being victimized. I think that what's happening is due process. And due process cannot be thought of as punishment. It's like you're taking due process and saying, well, I'm being hurt. It's just like we're shooting them with due process bullets. Due process means we have to look at things the way the Constitution tells us to look at it. And if the Constitution says you're tied to a hearing on this issue and someone appeals, you have to go through that process, however tedious it is, because someone's life, someone's freedom is in jeopardy. We don't know that person's guilty necessarily until all that evidence is in. And until we know that, and until it's done in a proper way, I think that, you see, it requires an incredible patience. But I don't think that we can say that the person has a right to a particular time by which a case has got to be tried. I don't think you can say
I don't think due process is an open-ended process, and at some point it's just become too open-ended.
I think you need to get to the heart of why cases are backlogged, and the probably reason.
I was going to say that might be,
Yeah.
therein lies the problem, is why they are so backlogged in the first place. And some of them, like the Weinstein, Bill Cosby's in jail. Weinstein is still walking around. I'm just saying. Okay, so let's go go
see-
to.
And see, Jill, I'm gonna go back to again. I had these men that came in my office and they called themselves dead men walking,
Right.
and they have been
Because
incarcerated 20 years, 23 years, 25 years, and didn't do it under these
right.
provisions. It would be onerous for them. It would be harmful.
They would
so
be, yeah.
So again,
Well-
one was 2 weeks away from execution, but again, they found the evidence, DNA.
Yeah.
Okay, so and that takes years. So I get it. Trust me. And this is a fine balancing that we have to do.
I was gonna say
it's just
that's-
putting it in the right place. Should it be in our constitution, or should we
Right.
deal with this statutorily, where we can go back and amend if it's not working properly, which comes around. We can do that every year if we have to, instead of waiting 20 years if it's not working.
So-
So we have to be very careful.
Right,
And
because
the
a no
Constitution
would
requires
be-
us- The Constitution requires us to be careful, because I don't think that if you put a 2-year cap on appeals, that's gonna pass muster with the Supreme Court, conservative though it is. So
Okay.
in other words, I think that we need to step back and figure out why cases are being.
So that would be a no.
Amen.
So we can agree to say no on 6. All right, so I want to go to 2 and 3. So Katia, my dear, so number 2 is limitations on the property tax assessments. Okay. So proposing an amendment to the state constitution to permanently retain provisions currently in effect which limit property tax assessment increases on specified non-homestead real estate property, except for school district taxes, to 10% each year. If approved, the amendment removes the scheduled repeal of such provisions in 2019 and shall take effect January 2019. What in the world does that mean?
So in English.
I'm just saying.
So in English, essentially Amendment 2, what it does, it sustains and makes permanent something that is currently in law. We voted for this in 2008. It was a part of Save Our Homes. If you have a non-homestead property, I'm going to define non-homestead. Non-homestead, if you have a property that you live in, that
Right.
is your homestead. And your taxes are assessed every year and it's capped at 3%.
Okay.
If you have a non-homestead, which is a commercial property, or
An Airbnb.
an Airbnb or rental property, you're capped at 10%.
Okay.
And so that is, I mean, essentially, the legislature found that fair, because 3% is for homestead, 10% for non-homestead. That's your small businesses.
Right.
That's your commercial properties. That's your farmland. Those are folks who have separate rental properties. That's been capped for 10% for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
The League of Cities is neutral to this. The counties are neutral to this. And believe it or not, the property appraisers in Palm Beach, Broward County, and Miami-Dade approved this amendment. And what this, it allows for businesses to be able to forecast their business. If you have a business and you can't say that you know what you're gonna pay at the top of what you're gonna pay every year in property taxes, it's really hard for you to function.
Right.
Prior to 2008, when this was passed, property taxes on non-homestead properties could raise egregiously.
There were variables.
They
Right.
could raise egregiously. This is a fair amount. This is more than 3 times what your homestead property is.
Okay,
They
so
found that to be fair. The property appraisers approve it. A lot of folks are bundling this with Amendment 1, and this is really different.
Right.
This allows for business to grow in Florida in a fair way. Because 10%, like we said, just to let you know, the legislature voted for this. 98% of the legislature voted for this.
Right.
And the 2% that voted against it was because they thought 10% was too high. They wanted the cap to be lower.
wow, then 10%.
Then 10%. A very important key for some of our folks who are against this. Note that 60% of the properties that benefit from this tax cap are residential, meaning those 60% are renters. I have a rental property. If my taxes go up, I'm not going to eat that cost.
You're gonna pass it on to your
We're
renter.
going to pass it on
Right.
to the renters, and that is what a person who's in business who has a property, that's what they're going to do.
Right.
We have a huge, huge, huge affordable housing crisis in Florida, and if this
Huge.
goes up,
Right.
believe that property owners are not here to eat the cost. They are not in the business of making it. They already make it as affordable as they can be. Let's not make it harder on folks.
Right. Let me grab this right quick.
No worries.
Hi, welcome to Hot Talk. Who's this? Hi, Daryl. Do you have a question?
Yes, I do. I have a question because I heard about amendment number 4. Okay, I agree with that. I totally agree with it. The thing I don't understand is this. Okay, there's a law that if you are driving a vehicle of sort, and you don't have a license or whatever, or your license has expired, why do the judges and why do law enforcement still say that your license is suspended when the license is no longer valid? Even the rule book of the handbook, it simply says just that.
Can you all hear you?
Huh?
No, nothing. I was just making sure they could hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay, but the rule book says point blank, what makes a license valid is that the duration time that you took the test, and then until your birthday, or whatever year that is. But they're still saying that your license is suspended. How can you suspend something that's not valid, or revoke something that's not even valid?
That's not bad.
I think the legislature needs to look at that and contact its local rep or state senator. And
Who
if
is
that-
your rep?
I mean, Department of Motor Vehicles,
Yeah.
and yeah, again, I would say contact.
Where do you
Where
live?
do you live? You live in Deerfield. Contact Senator Perry Thurston. Right?
Shout out
Senator
to Perry
Perry Thurston. That is your state senator, and your state rep is Patricia Williams.
Yeah.
Turn it down.
Patricia Williams.
You got it?
And he's even a criminal
Awesome.
lawyer, so he'll really know what you're talking
Okay.
about.
There you go. All right, well, thank you for calling Deerfield Beach. You know what, and that is that. Thank you for being authentic about that, too, because a lot of people would not say they don't know. I've been here forever, and I do not know. And I think, and that is one of our biggest problems, is that we really don't know who's your state rep, who's in Senate, who's in Congress. What's the difference? Somebody asked me at an event the other day, what is the difference between a state senator and a senator that goes to Washington? I was like, wow.
About
We
$150,000.
can't laugh. We cannot laugh. That is a real question.
No, it is
And
a
we
very
should
real question.
educate folks
No, I mean-
when we hear that question.
And
should.
that's just one of the spaces that we're in now. But the
We don't have
beautiful
civic
thing is that
anymore,
people
Are
are
asking.
paying attention.
Right.
Exactly. And before that wasn't the case. Okay, so before we get up against the 50, I want to go to Amendment 3. So, shout out to my amendment guys. Okay, so now tell us about. I will give you all a brief on 3. Okay, it is the constitutional amendment, voter control of gaming in Florida. This amendment ensures that Florida voters shall have the exclusive right to decide whether to authorize casino gambling by requiring that in order for casino gambling to be authorized under Florida law, it must be approved by Florida voters pursuant to Article 9, Section 3 of the Florida Constitution. Affects Articles 10 and 9, defines casino gambling, and clarifies that this amendment does not conflict with federal law regarding state and tribal compacts. The amendment's impact on state and local government revenues and costs, if any, cannot be determined at this time because of its unknown effect on gambling operations that have not been approved by voters through a constitutional amendment proposed by a citizens initiative petition process. By the time you finish that, it's like, what? It sounds to me like it's not done yet, so maybe we should just leave it alone. But, amendment guys, you say.
Well, Amendment 3, as it says right on your ballot,
Yes.
even the state of Florida can't figure out the impact of this thing. It was
Right.
written to confuse, it was intentionally written to deceive, and to find out what it really does, and the intent of it, pull back the curtain. Who's supporting it? One of the biggest supporters of this is the Seminole Tribe of Florida.
Okay.
So they're saying voter-controlled gambling. Oh, unless it's us. It says right there, it doesn't apply to the biggest casino operator in the state. The Seminole Tribe of Florida is exempting themselves and fooling you into thinking you have voter control. It's a monopoly for the Seminole Tribe, and they're the biggest supporter. Okay, it takes away complete local control. Let me give you an example.
Yes.
If the voters in Broward County decided they want to have casino resorts, hotels, casinos, add to tourism, thousands of jobs, hundreds of millions of dollars in tax revenue, The
Right.
state, every voter in the state would have to approve that. You have no local control here in Broward, even though we already have
I see,
commercial
what you-
operators.
okay.
So if a commercial
Well, they're trying to
operator-
fill up that guitar of a hotel there. They're not trying to let the rest of y'all eat.
They are trying, yes. But the fact of the matter is, if a commercial operator like us or MGM Resorts or somebody
Right.
wanted to come into Broward, they would have to go to a statewide vote. So the voters in Orlando would have a say on what happens here in Broward. It's not local control. Voters are completely taken out of any thing to do with the biggest casino operator in the state, and nobody realizes that. That's a shame. Who is the second biggest supporter of this thing? Disney. Now you ask, why Disney? Well, Disney, you could say, might be anti-casino, but why would they want to support this? Simple. They're not anti-casino, they're anti-competition. And what would happen is if an MGM resort or a big casino came in here and built a beautiful hotel, a casino, and convention space, well, that would compete with Disney for convention business. So the people in South Florida or Jacksonville, oh, no, you shouldn't have a say in what's happening and what's driving tourism. Just let that be Disney. So you got two major funders of this, making people believe it's going to give them voter control of gambling, and it does the direct opposite.
Okay. Consensus in the room? That's why they're the amendment guys.
I mean, I guess my take is that there's certain things that should be in the Constitution. You should have things that relate to your fundamental values. You should have things that provide rights to the indigent, to the poor, and so forth. I mean, this is something that I think should be addressed through the legislative process. And so, without dealing with the issue of monopoly, which certainly reigns true, I'm sure there are some agendas behind this that haven't been that don't meet the eye. But the main problem I have with this really should be legislation. It should go through the legislative process. There should be hearings and let our representatives resolve this.
Yeah.
To that point, if I could.
Yeah.
They're running ads on TV right now that say, don't let big casino operators go to Tallahassee and buy a casino license. The biggest casino operator in this state is supporting this amendment. So they say right in the amendment, oh, we can go to Tallahassee and we can negotiate with the legislature, but you commercial guys can't. This has no business in the Constitution. This is written for special interests and it doesn't belong there. The legislature, the elected officials should be able to respect local control and local say of voters. If Broward County, Dade County, Hillsborough County wants to have a commercial operator, they should be able to go to the legislature. That's what these folks are elected for.
Right, and Chris, remember, we were dealing with Gretna, who wants their, Gretna wants, and they want jobs.
Yeah,
They want
good
jobs,
point.
and so the local community voted in that stead with respect to what they thought would work for their community. So now, this would require the whole state.
States, I was gonna say, how does that work?
What Gretna
But
wants.
representative would also nullify that vote.
Yeah.
8 counties in this state have voted to authorize commercial gaming.
Right.
This would take that vote, the voice of the people, away and require, so Gretna would be out of luck. Palm Beach County would be out of luck. So it was written to preserve a monopoly.
All right, we're going to take a, wow, we are at the top of the hour. We're going to take the first 10 and wrap up right after this break. Stay tuned. I am Jill Tracy. This is Hot Talk on Hot 105.
From the Florida Lottery.
Okay, I'm going to I am going to,
Making the caveat, it should be in.
oh, they're out there.
You should receive Brandon a little bit. That's what we have to do. Because you come from a place when you've been doing it a long time. Oh, yeah, that's what people like that. But I thought, I wasn't doing it, they don't understand why. Right. They don't understand.
Right, I'm gonna like speed through the rest of the amendments, and then I'm gonna wrap with that question, explaining why you have to be careful with amendments versus statutes.
Right.
And then kind of give where you're gonna be next.
And with Jill, I'm gonna tell Mary, let me know when I'm gonna be next. We have a provision in our Constitution that protects pregnant pigs. So that is what, there you go, we will bring that out, and that is the ludicrousness of it. That's
Of what
my
we're,
word.
yeah.
So of course the horses and the cows got mad, because we're protecting pregnant pigs from discrimination in our Constitution. You don't tamper with the Constitution.
At all, right.
Our U.S. Constitution has been in existence over 200 years. It's only been amended 29 times. So we're going to do 13 for our state constitution in 1 year? Really? That is out of order. Ain't right.
More than 13 is about 20 bundles.
Oh yeah, we did bundle. That's true. That's true.
And if I can, just one more caveat. You explained how amendments get on the ballot. And you explained how statutes, people can interact with that process. I think that is also the capital. Because you're saying, oh, well, it shouldn't be in the Constitution.
It should be, right.
But how can I participate in it?
So I can wrap up how a lot of the stuff we didn't do, we're sending to the legislature. All of this could have gone to the legislature.
All of it could have got to pass along. And actually, some of this that didn't pass.
Yeah, because a lot of people didn't know, like, even as you're a constitutional professor, you didn't realize that our constitution, we have a provision that allows the constitutional committee.
Damn, we got a lot of commercials.
Like, me, now that I know that, I probably am going to consider that so hard now. That should never be happening.
Huh?
We're confined to single.
It's freezing?
No, I understand.
Oh, it just like
Never
stops?
looked at anything we were doing.
Huh.
They couldn't look till after, and then they.
I wonder if it's my battery.
Yeah, that's
But there's only 3 states that do it, and they do it every 20 years. Commissioner.
you just got to stop.
Oh, yeah. Okay, maybe just plug that in.
You know?
Amongst the breed of people. No, we can't even have it like that. That's ridiculous.
Let's see. Does it freeze up on your phone? Can you check it on your phone?
And also make you think about whether these
Appointing is the governor, speaker of the House, president of the Senate. The Florida bar gets 3, they get 3 appointments, but the vast
But there should
majority.
be oversight. The fact that it is not following any legal procedure.
Make our own rules. First 4 days is make our own rules.
Until we change our landscape. You know they say when they violate the when they violate the rules, they interpret the rules. So we're going to violators to interpret the rules. Like we had somebody who we brought somebody filed a complaint, and they say the rule is what we say it is, because we in conclusion.
Oh, okay.
And until we change the language.
And we're only 3 of 56 that do this. And we don't think
because we're Florida, girl.
Okay.
Say what you said.
we can't live
How long were you in Columbia?
How do you remember that?
that.
We talked last year
Yeah.
about it. 2 years.
Right. I thought about you when I was there. No. When I was at YPN this year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, where is YPN?
It's a mix. We YPN,
That's funny.
Are you coming to the sleeping over here?
Nice work. Bam. Fantasy Sports website.
And you don't want to be in a room with Ben
Sponsored by Fantasy Sports Shark LLC. California.
Medicinal cards are legal in California.
No, she likes Ben. She likes Ben.
Don't start,
And
okay?
Stacey does.
First of all, hey,
Those are her friends. Her inspirations.
don't you dare start.
They put you on your line. Don't you like Ben Carson and Stacey? Why are you going to their conference if you don't like them? Basically, it's called the Black Leadership Summit, and it is basically an alt-right summit. Yeah, right. No. Exactly.
I would say exactly all right.
They are. They definitely are.
They're ridiculous.
No, gonna be a good one.
That'd be so great if I could give him to myself. He would never. It would be that. He would never want to do anything social justice. But he didn't really say anything wild. That's the thing.
No, in that interview, if nothing he said was
wild.
wild.
He's just wild. So
Exactly, so people get lost in his behavior.
It's one, the hat. I think it's
It's
the hat and the behavior.
fawning. Like that was
Yeah.
a very uncomfortable
This is
flaw.
my man.
I love you,
This is my
man.
dog.
You make me a superhero.
I didn't have a dad
But
figure.
when I put this hat on, I feel like Superman.
That
was a bit much.
That is he did. He did.
Yeah, he
He
did
did.
that.
But what he was talking about in
No,
terms of
every
the
other
13th
point,
Amendment,
the
like it was
13th
logical.
Justice Reform.
I think it was scripted. I think he thinks
When you create memories that you can keep for a lifetime. You can't put a price on a good time.
No, I actually don't think it has
I think he wants
anything
to
to do
run
with
for
his
president.
music at all.
I think he wants to run. No.
It
White
has
people love
nothing.
him.
Yeah,
White
they
people love
already
him.
buy his
Black
music.
people
They
don't buy
already
his music.
support his thing. It really has to do with that I think he does have an
15.
interest in running for office today. And he has studied the Trump method and
Yep.
realizing that there is an audience of people that listen to things in sound bites.
Yep.
But who would
Who will
vote
vote
for Trump?
It's true. Who said it?
It's the same people.
second graders, you know.
No,
But I think
no,
the
but
problem is
the
because we're
majority of
educated
people
people,
are
we
second
keep
graders.
forgetting that we're
And
no
welcome
longer
back,
the majority.
885. As you can tell, this conversation is going on while you're
No.
But that's what our education system. I feel like I'm like in a bar.
The average person can't even leave.
Welcome back to Hot Talk, 888-550-9105. Right, and the crowd goes, what? Yes, you all have been live for quite a minute. They've been listening to your whole conversation.
Oh yeah, we know.
Welcome back to Hot
He's
Talk,
chopping me on blast and getting
888-550-9105. We have bled into the Hot Talk after midnight. We do still have Elijah Wells is in the building. The Lassane family, the Life with the Lassanes is in the building. And Peter London couldn't make it tonight, but his surrogate, Cedric Dawkins, is here in his tutu, I kid. Here on behalf of the Peter London Global Dance Company. We'll talk to them coming up in just a few. But before we get out of here, listen, we have, I'm prayerful that we'll get one last session with you guys right before the vote. What is that? What is that Sunday right before the vote? The fourth. Yes. So check your calendars now, because I would love to have, we just do that whole show on the 4th, because I can't even get all the calls and the people that want to talk and to be able to let you guys talk. So I think we need the whole show on the 4th to be able to get through everything. But one of the things that Cece, I'll let you ask the question. Was we were having a conversation on the break. Cece Battle, those of you who don't know, she is with Young People 4, and it's FOR.
Yes.
So she's kind of riding shotgun with me tonight. She's in town from DC. You want to move Dr. Jones's mic over there for a second. Welcome, Cece.
Hey.
Finally, it happened to me right in front. I'm sure people do that.
Yes.
Okay.
So my question was, if we could explain the difference between amendments and statute, and what things should we be looking for if we're trying to pass or create amendments, and what things should we be looking for if we're trying to pass and create or interact with the process of creating statutes? Because it seems like, us average folk may not know the difference, and I think that would help put into context how and why people should vote for these amendments.
I think statutes, and as mentioned before, well, Dr. Jones mentioned before how the Constitution is our voice, is our fundamental. It's what we believe in. Now, statutes can change every year. It takes 60% vote to put something against the Constitution. So once it's in there, it's pretty much in there. Whereas a statute, if you see something's wrong, you can change it. If you put too much in there, like if you go down to like number 12, which prohibits the lobbying by elected officials or whatever, it sounds great, but the devil's in the details. Something like that should be by statute.
Yeah.
So when you see that, oh well, we really didn't mean that, it can change every year. And the way you can get statutes done is by the gentleman that called earlier about the his driver's license issue.
Right.
You can contact your local elected officials, and I can tell you, as a longtime legislator, I love good ideas, so I can take credit for them. So you can call your legislator, you know, with a good idea. Some of this stuff is a good idea. You think it's a good idea? It's better that you call your legislator, let them file the bill and get it passed, because, you know, nothing's perfect. If there's an issue, you can come back the next year and change it. But once you put stuff in the Constitution, beware, because it's hard to change. Now, some stuff that's in the Constitution, you got to deal with it. Like 4, because it's in the Constitution, because they put that racist language in our Constitution, that has to be done by amendment to change it in the Constitution. But realistically, about 80% of this stuff can be statutory.
And I'll just add the provision, on one of the provisions deals with the age that a judge should retire. Well, that's gonna change over time. That can be in a law. That can be in a law. I do not believe it should be in our Constitution. Constitution deals with fundamental rights, like voting.
Right.
Things of that nature, not the age that a judge retires, really. Because again, that it might be 75 now, but as we look at it, you got it. So again, that changes over time. So something as fluid as that, if you will, goes into a law. Which is statute.
The Constitution is the platform on which we build our democracy. It is the fundamental things we believe in that we crystallize into laws and precepts, which are the supreme law of a particular state. It's the supreme law of Florida. This represents our highest ideals. These represents constraints on government that we think this is going to limit the government. These are basic limitations we must have in order for us to feel we have a democracy and a just government. Now, the other piece to that is that Jefferson says that every 20 years we should amend the Constitution to talk about the federal Constitution. So Florida has tried to create a process by which our Constitution can evolve and live, which is a great idea. But we do it by referendum. And what's happened is that people have taken advantage of this opening to make everything. I think Cynthia Stafford is going to want to talk about pregnant pigs. I think there's something about pregnant pigs
in the Constitution. Exactly.
Vaping. You want to put in the Constitution. You can't vape in a building. You've got to be putting it on. And it just seems to me that the problem is that none of this is the stuff of a Constitution.
That's what I wanted to know, Cynthia. How does that Representative Stafford, Senator Smith? How does that? And I guess Senator Smith, you are uniquely able to answer that because you were on this committee.
Well, the pregnant pigs got on. You know, again, as Senator Smith said, there are 3 paths for something to get onto the ballot to impact our Constitution. So it is the Constitution Revision Commission, the legislature, or the Citizens Initiative. And the pregnant pig provision was used in our Constitution. We have a constitutional provision that protects pregnant pigs. You cannot discriminate against them. The horses and the dogs. Don't get mad, because animal rights people, they were really up and up. Yeah, they were up and up. But you know, again, we did have to spend money as a legislature to defend this, because again, you know, a guy had to change his whole operation who was caging the pigs so that he could comply with the new provision. But then, are we gonna have horses next and cows next? So and that came on by Citizens Initiative. And keep in mind, everybody, is 60% of each vote. So again, Amendment 1, 60%, and that's a yes vote. So, you know, again, I used to tell Grandma, baby, I'm just looking for Stafford and Obama. I'm like, no, Grandma, you got to go down the whole ballot. You got to go the whole ballot. You can't stop.
Just don't stop at us.
Please don't stop.
Because it was so we really wanted to deal with the constitutional amendments tonight, but there are other things like each county. Like I'm looking at mine, and I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 12 Broward County charter questions. that, unless your local communities are doing, town halls.
Yeah, we gotta talk about that Inspector General one on Broward that gives the Inspector General carte blanche to go and
Yes.
investigate anybody, anytime about anything, don't even have a complaint. And we know when you give people carte blanche like that, who tends to be investigated
Right,
more than others.
because it says if good cause exists. Well, what is good cause?
Right,
That is subject to
yeah.
So okay, so we got to wrap. I promised you all I would get you out of here before midnight. I lied. So I just want to go to each one and ask you, like, as the amendments stand. Like, I want to say, who was it? New Florida sent me a vote no on everything except for 4. It's like it's 4 is yes and no on everything else.
Drop the mic.
So,
That's all.
so, but everybody kind of falls into that space. So for
But I think,
those,
voting no on everything, I think.
Who is that?
I don't know
Jay-Nick?
about that, yeah.
okay. Well, I'm just going to ask each one of our panelists tonight, what is your thought on voting on the amendments? I'm going to say what you're going to do. But what is your thought? If you had to cheat sheet it, because we know. Okay. So what would you, Donald Jones, if you were going to cheat sheet it, what would you say?
Okay, first and foremost, we have a historic opportunity on number 4, let my people vote.
Yes.
The enfranchisement of ex-felons is an anachronism.
Sure.
It's discriminatory. We need to enfranchise this group of people once they've paid their debt to society. This is historic. This is about justice. It needs to be there. If you look at 6, it's just the opposite. This does not need to be there. Marcy's law that we already have rights for victims. To the idea of taking that a victim who's not a party to a case with equal rights to defend it, at some point going to take away rights from defendants that they need, and anyone can be accused of
Right.
crime.
It needs
That shouldn't be there. This is wrong.
Right.
And there is another amendment. Now I can't give you my position on it because I don't.
Right.
I can't. I haven't invested in any position. I can tell you that there are people, and 7, 9, 11 are being challenged. I don't know if they're going to be on the ballot, but if they are, the ACLU thinks strongly that we should vote for number 11, and the Southern Poverty Law Center argues for number 11. It's about retroactivity. They believe it will help reduce the number of people in prison. I can only tell you that's the information I have. I don't know. But the problem I have, and the reason I'm skeptical of everything but 4, is that the commission, and with all due respect to the people in the room, the commission is predominantly composed of Rick Scott's people. And the people who push number 11 are a bunch of conservative groups. So, you always try to go look at the text first, because it's only a step. The text is good, but it's the context. It's who's pushing it, and I don't know what the agenda is. I can tell you that some very smart people think that we should vote for number 11. I step back, and I want other people to speak on this. But the one that I'm clear on, the 2 that I'm clear on,
is
number 4,
4.
we should vote yes, and number 6, we vote no. The rest either no or I don't know.
Okay.
And
Representative Stafford.
I concur with everything he
What you
said.
said, okay.
And I want to let the audience know that Representative Sharon Pritchett and I will be hosting a constitutional amendments town hall meeting
Yes,
on
I
October
have it.
17th at 6 p.m. at the Islamic Center of Greater Miami, 4305 Northwest 183rd Street, Miami Gardens. And I'm going through each one, Tracy, in detail. And I
Here you
give
are.
both sides of the issue. I give both sides. I take questions and I listen to
Yeah,
comments.
because you've been on a tour. You were all over this weekend in Greater Bethel. And,
Every week. I have been doing this every week up until the week before election because I want the people to know.
Yeah.
I want the people to know. So we will be there. And again, I'm going in depth.
Yeah.
I'm going in depth.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Oh
for
no,
for
thank
having
you.
me.
I hope that you will. I'm gonna get on with Mary and get you all back in here that Sunday before it's the end. The Sunday before the end. Senator Smith?
I just want to say to my wife, I'm still at the station. I want y'all to verify that it's after midnight and I'm still here at the radio station.
Yes.
I think on Facebook or Instagram or something. Because chain go on the door at 12. And so I just want to put that out there first. But I think there's a lot of good arguments for and against a lot of these amendments. There's a push, I know. I would tell people to look at these, decide for yourself. If you get confused, that's number 4.
Okay.
You're good on 4. If
Right.
you're confused, yes on 4. But really take a look at these and get your vote by mail, because it's going to take you 32 minutes. If you go through all of these, we timed it out, all the
Wow.
races, it's 32 minutes. So try to get that ballot by mail, do it at home, sitting at your kitchen table. 'Cause
Yeah.
You just ain't going to have time.
Yeah. Okay. And in the barbershop, Katia?
Yes, yes. I wanted to say, just very briefly to everybody, you can actually take a voter guide in there with you. You can create a cheat sheet if you want and take it with you to vote.
There you
If
go.
You get an early ballot. You can actually create yourself a cheat sheet.
And take it with
Something
you.
else that I
That's
wanted-
very smart.
Yeah, something else I want to say that's super important is I know that there's a push, and I believe strongly that 4 is really important. But again, I'd like everybody to vote yes on 2. I think that it's slightly irresponsible to tell folks to vote no on a litany of amendments that are going to have effects on their day-to-day lives. And I think that once you tell someone to vote no on something, then things start changing. Say, for instance, like our amendment, you look up and your rent is up $250 every month. You're gonna want to know why. And when your landlord says because my
you
property
voted for
taxes
it.
went up, you voted against this. And so sometimes we tell people to vote against their own self-interest, and they're gonna look at the folks who are telling, well, you told me to do this. I thought that you look out for us. I listened to you. So I tell the voices that are telling people what to do, educate people. Do not tell people to vote yes or no on an entire slate.
and
I
help
find
them-
that to be irresponsible.
Yeah, well, and everyone has their opinion, and I also believe that you need to present the information, and the people need to find out. Like somebody who comes back and says, "Well, you told me," it's like the sun was shining at midnight too. You
Right,
didn't do
everybody
that.
has a
So,
responsibility to
you know.
educate themselves on all of the amendments. 'Cause
Exactly.
They're all, to some extent, extremely important. And
Yeah.
They can affect you in more ways than you know.
yes, great. And I'm gonna close with the amendment, guys.
Well, I just want to thank you for having us here tonight. I really
Thank you for
appreciate it.
coming.
One thing was clear after listening to all of this, and I learned a lot here tonight, but it's crystal clear after listening to this and the intelligence in this room. But one thing that stood out to me was just pull no on 3.
Oh, you gotta love that.
One message.
Thank you all so much. I hope that you all are taking notes. They will be back. I'm hoping to have everybody back in the room Sunday before. But coming up on the other side, we're going to talk to all of our artists in the building. So I'm going to play a little something while they leave, and we'll be back. I love that.
Thank you.
Good. These young ladies go back to college. Don argued with Mary Haslett.
Okay. Can somebody, Kanasha, can you get all of our picture right quick? And then you can bring them in?
Oh, they're going to take a picture? Yes, yes.
And then guys, everybody over here, so we can take a picture right quick. And then all of you all go into the chairs.
Jill, do you want me to stay or go?
Stay.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. Kanasha, can you take the picture? Everybody come, hurry.
Here you go.
I've got, right, he's like, 4 minutes.
I'm still here. All right, let's take it quick.
You guys, I got you. Where's Elijah? Elijah.
I like this. Cynthia, come over here. Yeah,
I feel like I should be in here like this.
there you go. Somebody has to take the prison pose. No, somebody come over here. Yeah.
Let me take it.
Okay.
You got yours?
Cheers. All right.
One more.
Cheers.
All right.
Wait. Thank you so much. Thank you. That was really good. Yes. Yes, I'll definitely be a fan of that. Thank you.
Sorry, I was
Yes.
quiet. I didn't realize I was going to be on the mic.
Oh my God. Okay. Yo, that's right. We need to talk about that. We have not talked about that. If you,
God bless you, Jim.
yes, babe. I'll be in touch.
I am. And I was like, as a lawyer, I'm telling you, as a lawyer,
I wanted to bring you
God,
some coffee, but
the
your Starbucks
next
closed
thing
so late. I mean, so early.
I get it. However,
To the light.
You heard me?
I understand it won't pass around, but again, that's
Jill.
something we can deal with legislators.
We had fun.
They say he's a fly jock and I say, oh, this time join the hardest working man in radio. Kim Whitley and Sherry Shepherd, if you found your child's diary, journal, or hidden box, would you invade their privacy? And what age does their right to privacy begin?
It ain't no problem.
20.
When it happens under my roof, it is my diary.
Yeah.
The bed you sleep in is mine. You don't get to keep a journal.
I'll take it one. I'd have to read Joshua's diary first because he can't And we're back Monday from 6 to 9 a.m. on Hot 105. Today's R&B and old school. Hot 105. If your home was built before 1975, I have an important message you need to hear. Homes built before 1970 cast iron pipes that are corroding right beneath your feet. Many homeowners are unaware, and your pipes may be decaying completely out of sight. This ticking time bomb can lead to devastating water damage to your home. Our firm is currently representing thousands of Florida homeowners to make their insurance companies pay to replace and repair their pipes. Our lawyers have successfully won money for clients to repipe their homes, but your time to file a claim may be limited. If your home was built before 1975, visit pipelawsuit.com or call us now at 800-888-1234. To find out if your home is affected, visit our website at pipelawsuit.com or call us now at 800-888-1234. Offices, Miami.
It's Big Lip for Off Lease Only, and I know car shopping can be very irritating. You know, you have your heart set on a particular ride, then the dealer doesn't have it.
Do
There's
you
some
see
pushy
one of
salesmen
these
that trying to
in
get
the
you to get
door?
a ride that you don't even want.
Like that file by the
chance
door?
of that happening at Off Lease Only is slim to none because Off Lease Only's inventory is exploding with over 5,000 cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans in stock. Not just thousands of cars, all priced thousands below retail. And Off Lease Only has sold hundreds of thousands of vehicles over the last 20 years. So why take the risk by going anywhere else? No negotiating, no hidden fees. Plus, they offer a 5-day, 500-mile free exchange policy for added peace of mind. So if you don't like your ride, simply bring it back and exchange it for any other vehicle in their inventory. If I can trust them to get all my vehicles from them, so can you. Check out one of the 4 locations or hit them up at 954-222 cars. That's 954-222 cars. Oh, and if you ever hear a car commercial and they talk like this at the end, tax and title, they're probably hiding something. But you can always trust offleaseonly.com.
Hey yo, Miami, this is D.L. Hughley, and you listen to WHQT Coral Gables.
Owning business but baffled by digital marketing? CMG Local Solutions can help you take out all the guesswork out of digital marketing. Reach the right customer with a simple online marketing solution that is right for you. Learn more at cmglocalsolutions.com.
Attorney Alvarez back here. You know, Big Al from 1-800-HURT-123. That's 1-800-HURT-123. Tow truck drivers. How is it that they always just happen to appear after every accident? Look, I'm sure there are plenty plenty of good ones out there, but there are plenty of shady ones too. So watch out and call me directly from the accident scene so I can help. 1-800-HURT-123. You call, I answer every time, no exceptions. From my main office in Hollywood, I want to help you. Call me now, 1-800-HURT-123. That's 1-800-HURT-123.
AMSCOT and law enforcement agencies throughout South Florida will host AMSCOT's free bike helmet giveaway. Join Hot 105 this Saturday, October 20th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 297 South Pompano Parkway. Every child who attends can receive a free bike helmet while supplies last. For more details, visit amscot.com.
To join Hot Talk, 550-9105. And now, back to Hot Talk.
Oh, thank you. And welcome back. 888-550-9105. Hot Talk, okay, Hot Talk after midnight. And my new crew is in the building. Cece Battle is still with me. Hey, girl, hey. Hi. And now with me, yay! Elijah Wells is in the building.
Hey, what's going on?
Elijah's got the iGen Film Festival coming up.
Yep.
Are you excited?
I think I'm very excited for it, yeah.
5th year.
3rd year, actually.
Oh, wow, see, I'm ahead of
you
you.
know, you're speaking of
Yes,
this
yes,
time.
I am.
Exactly. Yes, 5
Yes,
years.
indeed.
All right.
So your 3rd year.
3rd year doing it,
So did you know CC before?
No, we didn't.
No,
We need to do that. How do you not know? My
That
name
is
is Wells.
CC Battle.
Beautiful name, CC.
That is definitely, well, this whole group is some synergy that certainly should happen. Elijah has been like grinding in the film industry since he was about 4. Seriously.
I'm trying.
I want to say like the first interview I did with Elijah, he was like 5 or something like that. And yeah, so now he's on the 3rd year of his own film festival. You started right.
The name changes and sponsorship and a lot of technical things that come with branding the name and what you're trying to do with it and the longevity of it.
Right.
And when met up with him in New York and I came back to Miami and really thought about it and I thought about why I started it. When I went to certain film festivals, I was always the youngest one, and it was kind of hurtful where I can talk to these certain people that's older than me about film and directors, and then it's like, okay, can I work with you afterwards? And I was like, you're too young, or you're not established enough, you don't have a name. And so this film festival is really to create a platform for young people, in America and Miami, and all over the world, because when they feel comfortable in a space, they can talk to someone that is, you go to the same school, you're the same age, I love filmmaking too. And so that's where the iGen comes from, because Gen is next generation.
Right.
So it's always new generation, next generation of filmmakers. So that's why it's called iGen Film Festival.
I love that because the timing is incredible.
Yeah, definitely.
Because children, when we talk about imagination, we think about being childlike again. So the idea that children don't have the ideas and the ability to create the kind of things that adults do. I think even more so. And now that there are tools that will allow you to do that in a way, just as sure as they can learn a video game, they can learn, Photoshop. Because it's still sort of and Premiere Pro and all of the rest of those. And so one family that certainly understands that is the Lassane family in the building. How are you?
Yeah.
Glad to have you. Now, Tony Lassane and I go back to college. Tony were you all dating at the time? Dating my roommate. So he was dating my roommate Mia. And we just thought he was the coolest thing in the world. He worked in the media. He was at Channel 10. It was like, oh my God. And he's a cameraman. And look at you, still doing it and doing it well with the entire family now.
Having a lot of fun and enjoying it.
It's a beautiful thing. So your beautiful wife Woody is here.
Yes, hi, how are you?
I am blessed and happy. How are you, sunshine? So glad to have you. And the youngest is here. No, oh my goodness, are you serious? I always thought you were the youngest. So please introduce yourself.
So I'm Cameron. For anybody who doesn't know me, I work in video production, digital media, graphics, web design, and we also produce events. As you guys know as well, we have the Miami Music and Film Festival coming up on November 2nd and 3rd.
I was going to say, yes, and you have a festival coming. That's why I thought this was great synergy. Because these are two, how old are you now?
I'm 24.
Okay, and Elijah? 21, yeah. See, look at that. And both of them are running festivals. Exactly. And with the encouragement, I thought your mom was gonna come. But where is she? Hey girl, hey!
Come on, little
Hey, I
muffin.
didn't when I tell
We got
you
one
every step of the way, I tell the story of Jaden Piner a lot.
Yes.
Because Natalie Piner is a good friend of mine, and she called me and said, girl, Jaden woke up talking about he wants to be an actor. And she said, well, I'm going to go talk to Eric, and I'll call you back. And she said, well, yeah, we're going to let him, sign up for Nora. And less than a year later, he is on stage accepting an Oscar for Moonlight. And to me, that is it just warms my heart every time I say it, because how many parents would have said, boy, get dressed and go to school, And so when you have parents, and that's why this is an entire show too, so you all have to come back. We tried to get everything in here tonight, that just didn't work. But I'm glad that you came, and I do want to, I really want to deal with it in depth, where people can call and talk to you about, the decisions that you made, Martha, and Woody and Tony, in letting your children pursue the business so young. A lot of people think, be a child, let them be children, and then they have that, to come. But you thought and knew better than that. I'll start with you, Woody and Tony.
Well, I guess one of the things we wanted to do is to be fair and to be honest. And part of that fairness and honesty was to let them know the challenges, the perils, and and the opportunities as well. But we didn't want to sugarcoat it and make them think that it was a walk in the park to do this thing. And I think Elijah and you guys understand the same thing, that we got to know what we're faced up against when we introduce these things to our children and bring our relatives into this, and know their lives. And as long as you know that and willing to work hard, then it's a good thing.
So now your Cameron, your festival is music and film. Okay. And Elijah, yours is basically film.
Yeah, film, documentaries, basically media related. But we're working into music, so hopefully, we can collaborate partnerships sometime.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's definitely some synergy happening there. And holding it down in the barbershop tonight is Cedric Dawkins, here in place for our dear Peter London. So now is your latest client, Freeze Frame Marketing. Congratulations. And so I talked to Peter the other day, for a long time. Way too long. He called and I was in public, so I was like, yes, so we can talk. And then I'm, in the cafe eating chicken fingers and still on the phone with him. But anyway, but one of the things that I said to him that I think is really important, that the fact that Peter London has been able to sustain his dance company for over a decade in this market, is miraculous. And he's going, what season is this? He's going into like his 20th season? Yeah, it's incredible. Those of you who've never seen the Peter London Global Dance Company, you are in for a treat. Now, there's a show coming up.
We have a show coming up called Atlantic Crossing on October 21st at the Miramar Cultural Arts Center.
Yeah. So now, Atlantic Crossing, tell me, I started reading, but I got distracted. I'm sorry. There's so much going on tonight.
It's just, they're going to be paired with the Company Dance Theater of Jamaica. They created this thing called the First International Cultural Dance Exchange. So basically, this production will kind of just show diversity but similarity in how maybe a Jamaican dance company versus American dance company kind of do the same thing. Right.
Africa Umoja, which was just here. Did everybody see that? Yeah, you saw it. Yeah, it was an incredible show. And the part that really got me was I want to say it was the beginning of the second, right after intermission, and the men were doing the dances on the garbage cans, and then they started stepping, and how each different movement they did was reflective of a different frat. Like one, I was like, oh, that's the Q's. And then another one, I was like, no, that's the AKA. That's the Alphas.
I mean,
that was not a read.
I mean,
that was not a read. But, and then another one, oops, that's the Sigmas. You know, so, and I didn't know. I was sharing with another Greek, and I was asking him. I was like, I never knew that the correlation was that close. I was like, so where did the Greek letters come in, and these organizations that were inspired by African tribes? Anybody?
I think it's like across America.
Wait.
Yeah, so basically, okay, so I'm Greek.
CC
and I said-
Battle,
yeah,
yes.
So a lot of times things were, I don't say manipulated, but we created our own out of things that were predominantly for white people. So the, you know, you can say
That's what the
Masonic
Greek-
orders. That's
right.
when Prince Hall was created, right? It was
Right.
still under the Masonic order, but it was a different division, right?
Right.
So in colleges and universities, there were Greek letter fraternities and sororities who were for white people. So our founders created Greek letter organizations for us.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. And just maintained
African
the
traditions.
African traditions
Yes.
with the Greek letter. Isn't
Mhm.
that interesting? Very interesting.
I mean, if things were created today, I would assume we may have done it differently.
We
but
might
you
have
know,
a Wakanda.
we didn't have the
Five
information,
days.
in 1913. Okay, we didn't know certain things. You know,
That's
So,
wow, that's deep. That's yeah. Well, that'll be a very interesting conversation. I have
we
to
should do an MPHC show.
right. We
You
have
know?
to sculpt something around that.
Do that.
Okay, so let's talk about the festival, iGen Festival. It kicks off Friday,
Yep, October 19th, Friday
Okay.
to the 21st.
and so where can people find the schedule?
So yeah, so
For
the
it right
schedule is
now.
going to be up on the website, which is www.igenfilmfestival.com. And then you'll find all the information there. You know, the film screenings, the master classes, the panels, the talk backs, all the schedule will be on there. And then also you can follow us on Instagram at igenfilmfestival.com.
And now, what is the admission? Like, can you? It's over 3 days.
Yeah, so it's a 3-day event.
Mhm.
So it is a paid event.
Mhm.
Just want people to know that. But our price is not crazy at all. So we're also doing if you're 16.
And what
or
are they?
younger, yeah, break it down. I'll break it down to you. But if you are a student, and I want to
Mhm.
make this clear to all the students out there. If you are a student in high school and 16 and younger, everything is free for you guys. So because again, I'm trying to make this film festival for the youth. So
We appreciate that.
yeah, but if you're not in high school anymore,
you know, seasoned.
you know, there are some prices up there, but the prices are not, you know, crazy at all. Our film screenings are like $12. Our master classes are $20. The only thing that's really, I say, up there is with the panel. The conversation with Romeo Miller
Mhm.
and then Sophie from Black Panther. She played one of the warriors in Black Panther. Those are like 30 and up. And then
Okay.
my panel as well. But again, the prices are not crazy at all. And one thing I want you guys to understand is that we're getting a lot of information, you know, with these
Yeah.
producers and directors and actors really coming from LA, New York, even across seas to teach, you know, the community.
Even
of
from the
town.
Florida
Yeah,
Film
from the
House.
Florida Film House, you know. Shout out to Michael Mall and Bly. Frenchie's going to be doing a producing class. So we have a lot of people in community, outside community, you know, coming together to, you know, give you guys a lot of information that maybe is not accessible to you guys, you know, physically or even
Right.
just, you know, right away.
You see, it's like this. I think about it a lot because I'm a big proponent of festivals, of seminars, of anything that you want to. I really believe that if you want to be something, you need to see it,
Definitely.
so you can see it for yourself.
Mhm.
So I mean, I've been going to NAPTI conventions and just everything that I thought was related, right, to what I wanted to do. For years, and they are very expensive, right? So when you can get a chance to get that level of interaction with people who understand you, let's just say that, and at a good price, you have to take it,
Yeah.
because in this business, I think in any business, you need people that will mentor you. My mentor, Jan Levan said you always need someone younger than you to mentor, someone your age to vent to, and someone older than you to teach you, and to get wisdom from. And I know that each one of you both, I'm talking to Cameron and Elijah, I know you both have those in your life, as we do have those. You have to have those. in your life, and I won't make you all go through who those people are in your life. And if you don't have those 3 in your life, you must start working on that right now, because you know. And so, how can I say this? What do you feel a responsibility, Elijah and Cameron, to the young people that you are bringing in to give them a breadth of knowledge, but not expect a lot from them? Does that make sense to you? Yeah, because everybody's not going to see it the way you all see it, right?
I would say absolutely. I think it's hard not to when you interact with them. You know, for our festival, it's something that we do on a Friday session. We bring in high school students from all over Miami-Dade County, and to see the level of excitement and energy around the stuff that we live and experience on a day-to-day is really refreshing, because you don't always see it from that level, from the inside.
Right.
You know, a lot of the times it takes someone from that exterior to tell you, hey, this, you know, you're inspiring me, or you're encouraging me to do something that I didn't think I could do. And to have, you know, students that are not that much younger than I am asking me questions, and, you know, trying to learn and get whatever bits of information they can from me, my brother, or my family who's putting an event on, it's really enlightening and humbling. So I would say definitely.
Yeah.
It's a must.
Does it makes you, do you have those moments, like especially when you're doing the festival, when you look at your parents and you're like, thank you, Jesus, for sending them to me?
Repeatedly, all throughout. Repeatedly, for sure.
Elijah?
Yeah, no, I definitely got to piggyback on it. You know, she said it, you know, especially for me, you know, I'm still young, we're both still young, so, when I was doing projects, I can say the recent thing, I just recently did a couple of projects for Wayne Miller. And, you know,
you shot videos. You just
yeah.
like throw that out.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the point. But
right.
yeah, so I shot a few music videos for him. But when that started to happen, I had a lot of people that I grew up with, and even younger, and people from different countries and different backgrounds. Hitting me up on DMs and Instagram like, yo, you inspire me. Like, how can I work with you? And it was one young dude that he would have me every single day on Instagram. Like, hey, I just want to talk to you just to figure out, your creativity and what you do. And, at some moment it was like, oh, okay, let me just step back from this. But I love that drive, and I love that passion of someone that can just, want something so much that they would do anything for it. I finally hit him up like, hey, I'm going to be here, come to this, come to that. And he's been on set, working with me and stuff like that. So it's always, happy and fills me up to know that someone younger than me wants to follow my footsteps, or I can at least teach them something that I know, and then pass them on to somebody more seasoned than me, like Florida Film House or Midtown Studios, anybody that I know. And then even for your next question, I say, oh geez, with my, being with the fest with my parents, oh my God, every single day. It's funny, my mom and dad my dad's with us today, but they both have a crazy dynamic. My mom, she's the one that if you say go, she'll go. She already have a plan in her head already to go, but she's gonna go like a baby doll. Like, let's go, let's make it happen. And then my dad, he's more of the let me sit down and think about.
Your dad is laid back.
Yeah, he's a cool. You'll never know he's in a room.
Right.
He's really calm and collect. But when he talks and when he executes, it's like, oh snap, he knew exactly what he was doing. And then I try to combine that with myself, but sometimes I go crazy and then I need my dad to be like,
right.
Stressing out of the world, crying, like, come on. So I definitely appreciate my parents for being in my life and really, teaching me these values.
It's interesting because both of your parents are like that, are very yin and yang.
Yeah.
So they've kind of given you what he's like, okay, which one?
Yeah.
But they give you a good balance. And so Cece, I know it just must warm the top.
I know, all in my feelings.
All over
I
So now, will you be here? Are these types of events that you would, go to promote what you're doing and to engage students? Because tell them a little bit about what you do and what's offered to them.
Absolutely. So Young People For, we are a national organization that works with college age students. And not in college, we say college age. It's a suggestion, not a rule. So our target age is 18 to 27, and we are a social justice incubator. So we challenge all of our young people to conceptualize their ideas for change. That may be through a film festival, or a music video, or an organization, or a campaign plan, or workshops. And the whole premise is we know that young people are dope. We know that young people have the ideas to change the world, but what they're missing is access to resources and opportunities. And that's what we strive to do. So we've been doing it for 15 years. There's 2,000 of our people in all 50 states and territories. And we're trying to build a better now. We're not the future, we're the right now.
Oh, I love that. Build a better now.
Yeah, that's who we are. And Andrew Gillum is one of our alum. I'm an alum. And when you ask the question of like, do you feel responsibility? It's really funny because now I run the organization that changed my life. And I do feel responsibility because I feel like, can I say the S word? I can't say that, huh? Okay.
Well, okay, but we know.
I'm not going to say that. So I feel like I don't have my S together, right? But younger people are like, but you do. And it's a humbling moment because I see people like you. You know, I see people like Kanasha, who's one of my besties, to be like, dang, like, how do I do this? I need to do more. And then when I see that hustle and other young people, it humbles me to be like, wow, we're on a journey.
Yeah.
We're a community. We have to do this together. And that's what we strive to do. Like, we're a community of young people and young-ish people like me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm young-ish too. Right. But we know that we need each other to do this, right?
Exactly.
So maybe you have the dope ideas. Maybe I have the resources. Maybe you have the location. Maybe you have the auntie power. And maybe family power.
That's
So
right.
That's what
I
we're
have
trying to
auntie
do.
power.
Yeah. Amazing auntie power. So yeah, would love to work together with y'all because we have young people that are definitely into this and would love to see how we can do some great things.
Some synergy, because I think that, well, I know, and especially in a time such as this, if you think about 50 years ago, right, what we went through, and you think about who helped change the world, it was young people. It was, you know, the coalition of those kids, the majority of them were under 30 years old.
Absolutely.
And so we are in that space again, and, you know, I think in young people now, I think just have a better discernment.
Absolutely.
Of they didn't grow up in silos.
No.
You know, they grew up at a time when music was unifying everybody. You know, and people can say whatever they want about rap, but you know, that's really one of the first musical genres that the playing field was even. Do you know what I'm saying? You had kids in the hood and kids in the suburbs listening to the exact same Jay-Z record and being able to be inspired or, you know, whatever. And that in itself is unique, that they have that. Jay-Z said once, you know, it's hard for parents to make their kids hate me when they listen to me and they know all my lyrics. You know what I'm saying? They love what I'm doing. How do you make them hate me? And that is a blessing that they have, and I think that, you know, are coming up with things like this. I didn't know kids when I was 24 play film festivals.
For real,
youth
though.
festivals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I will ask you, Tony and Woody, how do your businesses merge? You know, there are projects that you do together because you all have a business, and your kids also have a business. So do you all do work together?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
In collaboration. I mean, you know, part of why we created a business in the first place was not just about what we were trying to accomplish ourselves as business people and creatives, but also looking at the future and thinking about legacy and being able to build legacy. And so our sons coming into the world and into our lives, they grew up with it. They were part of various things that we were doing. So they were learning things early on. A lot of it didn't sink in initially, but it, you know, kind of came to bear later on. And so today, you know, the whole premise was building legacy, but also being able to expand. So the core business that we have, that Tony and I were able to build, they're taking that and expanding it and creating other businesses that are offshoots of that. It's all within the same industry, within the entertainment world, you know, in the creative world, because we're all creative, which is like, you guys got to really do this well, otherwise you're going to have a hard time. So you got to get it right.
Yeah.
So, absolutely, collaborations are there. And we feed off of each other. We've always had them at the table in discussions and meetings about their ideas and what do you think about this, and getting them engaged in the processes that we, you know, endeavor into when we're making decisions and when we're trying to create something. So they've always been a part of it, and they recognize, and you earlier on, I think, Pam would agree with this, that their ideas were valuable. And we said, hey, this is not just for where we are today, but where we're going. So you guys are going to be a part of that. How do you want to impact what that's going to be?
Yeah, and Tony?
No, I think the other piece that's important that we hope to share is that it's not just about us or our family. It's about what do we bring to the table of our community. Because this is really more about the entertainment economy. This is a billion-dollar business that has consistently bypassed us. And what we wanted our sons and everyone that we know, because I mentor a lot of young people, is that when these conferences and festivals came down, to your point, it cost $1,000 or more to do it. And so a lot of the young people were coming to me, and I'm not knocking that, that's fine.
Right.
But they would say, we can't get in, or we didn't even know. So we didn't want that next generation and the generation after that to have to suffer from that. So I'm really excited to hear that all these things that we're doing are reasonably priced and provide access. And that's what we wanted our family to understand, is that how do we make a footprint that doesn't only impact you and your career, but the careers of as many other people as possible, to really, really begin to have an entertainment economy that stimulates jobs and new opportunities and new businesses, sustainable businesses.
Sustainable, right? And them being able to see on, not just the good, but the struggle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the key words I like to use is the word possibilities, because it's so infinite. It doesn't have any and the possibility is so wide open. And so for the programs, and particularly the Miami Urban Music and Film Festival, it's opening up those possibilities. All these young people that are coming, whether they're in high school or they're young adults, or people that have been out there in the world for a while, just to recognize that you can do something in this industry. If this is what you love, you can find a place for yourself. Maybe you won't be on the front end of it, you won't be the talent in the front, but there's way more people on the back end that are below the line.
Oh my God.
That are working, a huge number. But it's really just kind of opening up their minds to what they can do with an interest or a talent, and how they can transition that into a career path and really be able to sustain themselves. And so that's the entertainment economy side of it, because it's the entertainment business. And we don't ever want to forget that. We emphasize it all the time, because people think about entertainment and not think about the business.
But yeah, and every time I'm with young people at events, I'm like, okay, what gig would you want in this whole room, right? And it's always somebody on stage, and I'm like, okay, look up at the top of there. You see all the men up there? Okay, you see look at that board. Okay, see all those men right there? Okay, thank you. And now starting to be women, because it really wasn't for a long time. But those jobs are union jobs. They're going to have those jobs until they croak over and die in that center. Okay, so, while you are, you want to rap, you have somebody in your family learn how to run them lights. Yeah. When we talk about generational wealth, the conveyor belt of poverty when it comes to artists. That's a whole That's a whole nother thing. That's a show. I would love to talk to you guys about that. About and like you're working with Romeo, and he's son of a famous artist, Master P.
Master P, shout out to Master P, No Limit.
And he, and he's seen the game on, on both sides, and is trying to build in the shadow of his father. I think about Empire when I think about them, not all the crazy stuff, but it's that same kind of thing. How do I build myself? And I'm sure your son's kind of challenged with that locally, because everybody's like, oh, you're Tony Lasane's son. It's like, I'm sorry, my name is Cameron. As I'm sure, you all get that a lot. So, Peter London Dance Company, we're out of town. We're out of here.
Peter London Global Dance Company, the convention is called Atlantic Crossing, October 21st at the Miramar Cultural Arts Center.
That's his name.
Yes. And you can get tickets at www.miramarculturalcenter.org. It will be in conjunction with the Company Dance Theater of Jamaica.
Yes, it's going to be good. Looking forward to it. Well, thank you. And please tell Peter I send my best. Cameron, the dates, times, tickets, and info.
So the Miami Urban Music and Film Festival is Friday, November 2nd and Saturday, November 3rd. It goes from 5 to about 10:30 p.m. And the tickets can be found at mumff.com under the tickets page. That's the official website, and there's going to be updates and content coming up there.
Awesome. I hope I get a seat in here. And Elijah, IGen in the building
So it's,
this weekend too.
Yeah,
So much stuff
everything's happening. So it's the IGen Film Festival happening October 19th to the 21st at the Astoria Theater in Overtown. Shout out to OT, all my Overtown people out there.
Hey.
You can find all the information at www.igenfilmfestival.com. Also, the ticket prices are on Eventbrite, which is also eventbrite/igenfilmfestival.com. Also, I just want to give a quick shout out to the amazing PR, Yvette Harris, Harris Public Relations. Give me a shout out to her. I just needed to do that real quick.
That's because she was gonna be snatching your
That's
face.
of my
Do you see
Oscar
this?
speech. Look, I have a full Oscar speech, and she's like the top one.
I love that.
Okay, I like to thank my publicist.
I like my publicist, PR.
And your mom. When I
Oh,
tell you, your mom and I have been on the phone, and your mom really, really, really stick and stayed. It's difficult to have, shouts out to you. High five, Martha. It's hard to have a child with a dream and really being a part of that and feeling like you can't make it happen for them. But, your mother is gracious enough to fight as hard as she can. And then when it's time to rest, just trust that it happens, and it did.
Yep.
So it's a beautiful thing. Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate you.
Yes,
Mom.
ma'am. MSCC Battle in the building. So, Nick, you're going to stick around for a second so we can do some stuff for the 411, because you're out of here. When do you leave?
I am. I leave this morning. In a couple
I was going to say,
hours.
you leave in a few hours.
I do.
All
To
right, well-
Idaho. Get excited.
All I could think of
Montana,
was
Wyoming,
potatoes.
Utah.
Right?
It's like excited. Oh yeah.
Let us know if the potatoes are better. Okay. Listen, I got it.
Young people live there too.
What do you say, Nasha?
She's like, young people live there.
They do.
Oh, they do. I would imagine. Okay. So you'll let us know who they are and what they're doing in Idaho.
Yeah.
There's so many jokes. I just can't walk into it. I'm out of here. Thank you all so much for listening each and every Sunday night. Making Hot Talk the #1 community fair show in this city. God bless you. Thank you. Let me get it, and I will talk to you in about 5 hours. I'm Jill Tracy. This is Hot Talk on Hot 105.
Thank you, Jill.
I'm gonna need the Starbucks down the block to stay open.
I know, right?
That was good stuff.
Yeah, that was good. That was a part of the same time. Yes.
I thought I saw the tradition. I couldn't tell about all over that.
I'm gonna need the Starbucks down the block to stay open a little later.
Huh?
I said I'm gonna need the Starbucks down the block to stay open a
Oh,
little
my
later.
God.
Like, what's early?
Girl, and that Cali cooler, that place is good. It's high as all get out.
Going to get our Starbucks, and I said,
I know.
I should have went in my neighborhood.
I'll figure it out later.
That was the best one.
I didn't even know.
Like, I said it was when I saw y'all have your April 2019, I'm like, yes, keep breathing. Because as soon as you told me it was 27 again, I was like,
Lemonade comes in later.
Oh, you bought one too. I love that
yeah, I
shirt.
saw that. And I was just like, oh, praise God.
I love that. Oh, good. What is this show?
I didn't even know it was around a holiday like that. That would make so much easier to plan.
Yeah.
And the movie, one of the movies.
We also don't change it because all of the...
We gotta go outside on the wall and take pictures.
Yeah. No, I give myself time. And I saw it was like October 14th. I was like, praise. I can make it this year. Now I got no excuses. Let me start my weight loss program.
Okay, I know it's nobody over here watching on YouTube yet, because you don't even know that I'm here this time of night, but guess what? I am. So, I'm gonna edit this and then it'll be on my website. Love you, mean it. Peace. We out, chair. Mwah. Yay. We gotta go. Yay. Oh. Why, thank you.
Did she get her food?
Okay. It's chocolate, right? Chocolate and
I want to be Jill
cream.
Tracy when I grow up. People delivering
Let's-
food. 1 o'clock in the morning.
Girl, let me
I know
tell
who
you.
that is.
How do I turn
I
this
should have went
off?
downstairs. Who's coming here delivering food? And what's your name?
How do I?
And I'd have been
Oh. Now I see you can mute the microphone. I have to have somebody manning that so that because I can never. I can never use them because the music is in the background so they'll get kicked off. So I now have to take them, edit them up, take the music out of them. But now I'm looking at this and I see that you can mute it. But I don't know how you turn it. Yeah, we're gonna go out there and take the photo. Are you usually want to start shooting? Yeah.